And welcome back to Varsity Sports Now. Jay Elsen and Jason Andera. Some good basketball being played up in the capital city here in South Dakota. The Pierre Governors, as of late, have turned the corner after a slow start. And for more on that, we bring in Midco SN analyst Al Bahe, who's right in the heart of things. And Al, with D1 recruits like Zach Hansen and Lane Severin, people obviously expecting big things out of this team this year, but they won just 2 of their first 6 games. What was behind that slow start for them?
Well, I tell you, I think this was a team that really had to find its identity at the start of the season. When you lose 2 starters that you were counting on coming back, and that's Conrad Adam and Matt Monfort, both would have been starters this year. And right before the season starts, you find out you don't have them anymore. Now you've had 4 or 5 other players that have had to step in. It takes some time for a team to develop that chemistry, the rhythm, and being able to, on the floor, get that identity in place. And I think you're going to see this team improve as the season goes along, just as those players get more comfortable with each other. Zach Hansen, Lane Severin are going to be steady night in and night out, as you've seen. But it's the other guys, the Garrett Pokup, Austin Christofferson, Cody Honeywell, Carson Eisenbeis, Nick Rayburn, Aaron Severin. These are all new guys that have to get familiar with the way Zach and Lane play and how they're going to interact on the floor.
So, Al, do you think that Pierre now has turned the corner and become an elite team? And if not, what do they have to do to become one?
I tell you, I think they're very close to that level right now. Coach Terry Becker would tell you we still need to work on team defense. And based on what I've seen the last few games, that's still something he's concerned about. Offensively, as I said, you're going to get that steady output from Zach and Lane night in and night out. But what Coach Becker said they're seeing is a lot of gadget defenses or different looks to try to stop Zach and Lane and force somebody else to beat them. Nobody's been real successful at that yet because those guys are just good offensive players, and they're going to score. They need to come up with a third scoring threat, somebody who's able to put the ball in the bucket on a consistent basis. They've got another big kid in Cooper Walton, so they've really got some good size. And a freshman point guard, Aaron Severin, when he comes in off the bench, has been a good, solid playmaker for a freshman, but he makes some freshman mistakes as well. So consistency from Zach and Lane. They need a couple of those other role players to step in if they're going to be there at the end of the season competing for that state championship.
All right, let's switch it over to the girls' side now, Al. Lady Govs turned some heads with a 4-0 start, but they're just 2-6 over their last 8 games. What's the story with that team right now?
If you have the answer to that, I'll bet every high school coach in the state is wanting to hear from you because, let's face it, these are high school kids. You don't know what you're going to get from 16, 17, 18-year-olds night in and night out. I don't know what the answer is on the consistency side of things. They've had nights where these girls have shot the lights out. The game against Roosevelt is an example of that. And then they've had games like they did out in Sturgis where 9 field goals is all they can put together.
With all that being said, now, what lies ahead for Pierre basketball in March?
I think the Pierre Governors boys team is going to be in the hunt come March. Of course, the big question mark there is can they keep everybody healthy during this final stretch of the season? You'll remember the last 2 seasons when they got to state tournament time, Zach Hansen was dealing with lower leg and foot injuries and problems that developed late in the season. If they can keep him healthy, keep Lane Severin healthy, I think they're going to be in the hunt, and everybody every night out is going to be wanting to take their shot at the Pierre Governors, just like they do with Roosevelt. Anytime you're the top team or expected to win, they're going to pull out everything they've got to beat you. But I think Pierre has developed that attitude that they know they've got the targets on their backs. It's just a matter of can those role players fill in, handle the ball, play within themselves, and do what they need to do to get Pierre to that next level. But I think they're definitely going to be in the hunt.
And once again, he is Al Bahe, Midco SN analyst, stationed conveniently for us this week up there in Pierre. Well, there are several great matchups scheduled over the next 7 days. Jason and I will pick them when we come back.